But hey, what's happening? Welcome. Dark Entries. I am John. This is another Dark Entry. Twisted Dark Chronicle. That is my mind. Yes. Good stuff. We're back. Last week, I tried to have a guest. He had trouble getting in, and I had the whole time I was trying to get him. I was texting him. I was trying to get him the link. He had the link. It wasn't working. He'd show up a little bit and then he'd disappear. I don't know what happened. He's a pretty tech savvy guy, that Captain Bronco. So I apologize. I was very distracted. I went through my notes and I was like, oh my God, did I talk about that? I don't remember talking about that. So hopefully I did a decent job. He did make it though at the very end, and he made a wild prediction. He said that the Denver Broncos were going to score 40 points last week when they played the Steelers. When they played the Steelers, and I was like, "Are you sure? That's quite a lot." I go, I think there's only like one or two teams that have scored more than 40 points so far in the first 2 weeks of the season. And from what we've seen from the Broncos so far, it was not something that I thought was going to happen. And guess what? It did not happen. It was not to be. I don't even remember what they got. I think they got like 6 points or something like that. Can't put it in the end zone. Really bad. But we'll circle back with the Denver Broncos and see how they're doing. We thought they were going to be much better than they are, and I thought it was going to be a little bit better. They were like 5.5 game win total, the over under 5.5, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to blow that out of the water. Well, I've been betting that for a few years now, and excuse me. And it has not panned out for me. So I bet it, and it is probably not going to get to that. I don't know if they're going to get to 5 wins, let alone 6. So we'll have to see. We'll just check back on that. And but I just wanted to just let you know that Captain Bronco, a usually tech savvy guy, just couldn't get into the show. I don't think that was his fault. And then he berated me after we were done for my crappy camera and the way it looks back here. He's like, "You got to get a better camera. This looks like shit." He didn't really say that, but so I will get that. But hey, we're just happy to be here. So let's just get into it, and hopefully the Broncos don't lose by 40 points next Sunday, which is tomorrow. There was 2 things that are on my wish list, and I know it's not Christmas time yet, but the 2 things that I want in my life are a little box I can click on any website or any app. That why in the hell did it just turn orange like this? Did it turn orange? I don't know. I clicked off to look at something. Now it looks totally different. Well, it's orange now. It's kind of yellowish. We'll see. We'll just see how that goes. So, there's some light there. Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Still working through it, folks. It's a work in progress, and we'll get there eventually. One thing I want on any app, any website, I want a box to check that will say, please do not log me out ever. No matter what happens, no matter what I say, do not log me out. The most frustrating thing in the world is like when you go to something that, I don't know, maybe I haven't used it for 2 weeks. You're going to order Chipotle through their app, and they've logged you out. And you're like, I cannot remember this password. I've got 800 passwords, and I definitely don't remember the Chipotle password. They should have something that we can sign and say, hey, I'm not a boomer. I will take responsibility for this, but please don't log me out. Printers, like printer apps, and don't get me started on printers. Printers are just fucking terrible. There's this one behind me. There it is right there. Just a piece of garbage. Just doesn't work. If someone could make a really simple printer that just can print, like a couple pages without getting too complicated or having to get into the spooling and all this other stuff in the control panel, that would be awesome. Let's somebody get on that real quick. But yeah, like that, like a printer app will just log you out, and you're like, I don't know what I did, and then you have to reset the password or go through like a litany of passwords that you're going to try, and it always sucks. So just please don't log me out of anything. I will take responsibility for it. I will, if anything happens, then you can just blame me. I will check that box, please. And the other thing that I don't want anything to do with is anything involving AI. And I'm sure there are things that I don't even know that are probably handled by AI, but for the most part, any AI art or any kind of AI driven search engine, like now when you go to Google, instead of it just giving you what you need, and you can find some links on what you need, there's always an AI kind of a breakdown, and it's always super vague. It's not anything that you want, and that's our current state, is just having AI shoved up our ass, and I don't want it. I don't care for it. It sucks. It's not good. Maybe they could develop it a little longer. Maybe it'll be a benefit, but all I can see is that it's just draining everyone's resources, and it sucks. And there's nothing good. There's nothing good to it. There was some weird, creepy Simpsons thing. They made it AI with like real looking people, and you can look at it for a couple seconds, and then I'm just like, okay, I don't need this anymore. This is dumb. So yeah, let's just get rid of the AI entirely. Unless it benefits me directly, which I don't think it does, and we don't need it anymore. I mean, it's already shown that it just will not. It's limited, and then the people pushing it. That's the other thing too. The people pushing it, once you see who really wants you to use AI and if they benefit from it, then you kind of see, oh, okay, that asshole wants me to use AI. That makes sense. Another reason to not use it. But something that we need to celebrate. It's the end of the season, and I know everyone's excited about this. Excuse me. I usually make this announcement around this time of year. It is we're getting near the end of iced coffee season. Iced coffee season, or ICS as I like to refer to it, is a great time where we get our coffees iced, and it's delicious and refreshing when it's hot out. This was a hot summer, so a nice iced coffee was always hit the spot. When I'd be driving back to my office and it was like, ooh, it's hot out, I'm gonna get myself an iced coffee. Well, ICS usually, starts up in, I don't know, maybe like May, I think, probably like early May, depends how the weather's feeling. If it's kind of done snowing, I think ICS can kick off then. And there's a chill in the air now, folks. So we now know that, it's getting close. We're going to have to stop icing the coffee pretty soon. And I know everyone's sad, but it's cold. It's going to be cold here tonight. I think it's going to rain a little bit. And, in the mornings I get up to let the dogs out, and I got to throw a jacket on. I can see my breath a little bit. That is definitely not ICS. And so just get ready, folks. I think, probably hopefully it's going to stay warm, into like October. And I think, pushing it past Halloween is going to be pretty, that's not going to be, that's definitely not going to be ICS at that point. So, so get ready, get your iced coffees in, and, we'll see you back in May for more of it. Okay. I wanted to talk about stolen valor. Stolen valor is a big thing where somebody gets accused of, like using like the military or military service when they didn't serve or something like that, using it for their benefit. And my wife, I have this hat. It's like I got it at like the army surplus store years and years ago. It's like a I don't know what it is. It's looks like a Desert Storm, but it's like kind of like a jungle hat. It's like a wide brim, and it's like the little digital camouflage. It's a great hat. I wear it to to mow the lawn, or if I know I'm gonna be outside for a while. And she hates when I wear it because she thinks that that, you know, she has in her head that people will come up to me and think I'm a veteran, and I'm not a veteran. And then she calls that stolen valor, and it's not stolen valor. It's just a military looking hat that I wear for practical purposes. But there's also hipster stolen valor, and I see this all the time. And I think there's people that they get into like a position where all of a sudden they're kind of like famous, rich, whatever. And all of a sudden they're like hipsters, but you know, they're not. Like I think a lot of models get this too, is they get like you know, they get a job in New York and they're making tons of money, and all of a sudden they're around all these fabulous, talented people, and then all of a sudden they're hipsters, and it's like, really? Okay, I get you. So I've noticed a lot of hipster stolen valor, and I'm going to keep documenting that and making sure that people understand that you know, you can steal hipster stolen valor, because there are people out there, you know, they're putting down the work, they're putting it in to make sure that people have hip things to do, and a lot of people just kind of show up and you know, kind of benefit from it, and I think they're stealing valor. We've got that in Denver now quite a bit, where I think that, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and people work hard to bring things to people. And there's a lot of people that just kind of show up, and just because they're there, all of a sudden they're the ones that are the taste makers. And I don't agree with that. So watch out for it. Hipster stolen valor, and we'll, you know, maybe together we can end this, scourge. I am in the middle of, no, not even the middle. I'm near the end of my rewatch of Lost, and I watched it religiously the first time when it had come out. And actually, tomorrow, September 22nd of 2004 is when the date of the original Lost plane crash, when it crashed on the show. And so it's 20 years, folks. It's been 20 years since the plane crashed on the island in Lost, and you know, it's something to note. It's been a long time. I've been watching this, and first of all, the guy Terry O'Quinn, he plays John Locke on there. That guy is so amazing in that. Like, I think he won some Emmys. And he should have anyway. I think he won some, and he is just so good in that. Like, everything about him, he's like pathetic, and he's like you know, like a leader, and he's all these things all at once, and just a really good performance. And he's been in tons of stuff, but I really think that was his defining moment. There was him as John Locke. But no, it's really good, but you know, it is kind of like it was like a network show, so it does have some kind of like cheesy elements. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm getting through it. I'm in the last season, and we're going to see. I don't remember a lot of it, and I think I was working late at night, and I was TiVoing it. TiVo, you guys remember TiVo? And I was coming home after work late at night, and I was watching it like whenever it came out. It was like I think it came out on like Wednesday or Thursday nights, and I would you know, take a shower or do whatever, and then I think I was pounding some beers and trying to sleep, and I would watch it. And there's a lot of it I don't remember, but it's great. It's like I'm watching it for the first time again. Yeah, so obviously once I get to the end of that, I will stop talking about it. But yes, the plane, 20 years since it went down. Another funny note about that is there's like all these shots, and especially in this season, that are supposed to be in Los Angeles. They're driving around Los Angeles, and that's where a lot of the characters live, and that's where they were headed in the plane. And it's just really funny because it's so obviously Hawaii. It's where they shot all the island stuff, obviously, and they're doing like exterior shots. It's like just very obviously Hawaii, not Los Angeles. I think that's very funny. They just didn't want to probably load everybody up to have to do a couple street shots in LA. It's probably a little bit cheaper. But yeah, good stuff. And another thing in pop culture is Puff Daddy is going down for as many crimes, his sex trafficking, and what else he do? Some sort of like sexual abuse and all these things. And I'm just here to tell you that I knew this all along. I knew he was a bad guy, and I remember when he came on the scene, and he just sucked, and I just hated him. And it's like, this guy sucks, man. He's a bad dude. And sure enough, that's what we're finding out. So Puff Daddy, I hope I hope you die in prison, and I hope everyone gets to. Hold on a second. Did I not even do this? Well, I don't know if I'm even got my sound on. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's right. Oh, you know what? This will sound better if I do this. Who knows if it even doing that? Hang on. See, technical difficulties all the damn time, and I don't have Captain Bronco. I don't have Captain Bronco to blame for it. So, well, hopefully that picked up. Maybe it sounds like shit. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, Puff Daddy, burn in hell, and we'll hopefully your legacy will go away much like you are very soon. Speaking of creeps, Elon Musk, he just keeps getting worse, and I'm really glad about my decision to not post on Twitter anymore. As I mentioned before, you know, I still check it. I have another account. I check it just for, like, you know, fantasy football stuff, and you know, just kind of like information along those lines. But I just feel like, if not that I'm, you know, any sort of like big account or anything, but even the littlest bit would send some money into his pocket, and I don't want to do that. So and it does make it difficult to like promote something like this. It's kind of hard to do, just because, you know, I did have you know, quite a few people that followed me on Twitter, so I could just say, hey, I'm going to do this. I don't have that. So, but you know what? I feel a little better about it, that I'm not putting any money in his pocket, and I'm kind of hoping everybody does that too, eventually. I'm just really happy not to have to see people tweet about college football, and that's really, you know, has made my life so much better. Because I just know that there's people tweeting about that and talking about college football, which is just, you know, the most bizarre thing to me. And God bless you if you're into it, but I'm not. Okay. There were some more albums that came out this week in history that are notable, and I just want to say I didn't. I don't think I did Ween Chocolate and Cheese justice. That had come out 30 years ago, the past week. And that's a great album. And I think you should go listen to it. It's got some really good stuff on it, even though it's not their best album. Their best albums are after that, but still a great album. Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland came out in 1968. Slayer's Hell Awaits came out in 1985. They also were on the list last week. So they like September. I think God Hates Us All came out in like on September 11th, 2001. And it just was like the worst timing possible. And they were just like, oh no. And, you know, it's got like a bloody Bible on the cover, and just was not, you know, with the events going on September 11th, it was not a good time for that. But yeah, they seemed like September. Easy Does It came out in 1988, and this is Eazy's solo record, and this was fantastic. That's a great record. It is very sexist and homophobic, but still a great record nonetheless. You can still appreciate the this art, I think, even though there's some questionable things on it. It's the trying to separate the artists from the content sometimes. You don't have to do that. You can just go ahead and hate it. That's totally fine. But the music itself and the whole record is excellent. Speaking of excellence, Black Sabbath's Paranoid came out in 1970. So that's 54 years ago. And of course, you know, I love some Sabbath, and me and some buddies did a music show, and we covered all the Sabbath albums, including the Dio ones, and that was really good, breaking that down and talking about you know, Sabbath and all the different kind of their evolution as they went on, and ultimately, you know, kind of broke up. But yeah, Paranoid's got, you know, Iron Man and Sweetleaf, not Sweetleaf, Sweetleaf's Master Reality.
Iron Man and Paranoid and all that stuff on there. Those are the very famous songs. It's still very good. It's got excellent stuff on there. Otherwise, War Pigs is on there, right? Yeah, War Pigs kicks it off. War Pigs is fantastic. The Replacements, Tim, 1985 that came out, and that's notable because they're starting to do Tim Waltz, who's running for vice president from Minnesota, or now he's a Minnesota politician. They're using that for that album cover I've seen for promoting Tim Waltz, Replacements Tim, and that's a very good Replacements album too. Neil Young's After the Gold Rush, 1970. Also a 54-year-old one, and that's got some great shit on it. Ozzy, back to Ozzy, Blizzard of Oz came out in 1980, so 44 years. That's incredible too. It seems like that thing just came out, yesterday, even though I think I was like, probably in like, elementary school, maybe junior high. Yeah, I think it was still in elementary school. And finally, Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska came out in 1982. That's a masterpiece. His masterpiece. It is really good. I think that's like, kind of hailed as Springsteen's finest, even though like the real Springsteen heads, they like some of that other sweaty hokum that he does. I like Springsteen, don't get me wrong, but some of that stuff's a little goofy to me. It's just not really. I love Nebraska. It's a great album straight through. I can listen to it anytime. That first notes of that are just like, just kind of sends a chill through. It's really good. Speaking of music, watching football now in the fall, NFL Sunday Ticket is using the Velvet Underground's Sunday Morning as like a little jingle within their promoting their product. Sunday Morning. If you remember, I don't know if it was them or it was some NFL thing, they used Morrissey's Every Day is Like Sunday, which is great. Obviously the Sunday theme, because real football is played on Sunday. And so now they're using the Velvet Underground Sunday Morning, which is a very nice little kind of like a sweet little song, which is funny because, Lou Reed was anything but a sweet little guy. And they actually, Lou, people have used a lot of Lou's stuff. Oh, excuse me. They used his song Perfect Day, which is his solo, was one of his first solo things. And they used that for a PlayStation commercial. And it was pretty homoerotic, I must say, but that's all right. Lou was definitely bi. But he was also a gamer too. So it really kind of like it works for him. I don't think he was alive to see that commercial, but he would have approved because he liked playing games, video games. And there was one of his albums, I want to say it's like, oh crap, I can't. It's got I Love You Suzanne on it. That's the only song you would know from it. And he's like playing a video game on the cover. He's got like a weird like joystick. And I guess at the time he totally got into playing video games. And he was a gamer. He was a proto gamer of the times. And so bless you, Lou. I hope they use more of your music in NFL commercials. Maybe they'll use heroin, because a lot of those guys get hooked on painkillers and then they have to go use heroin afterwards. So maybe they'll use that one. And finally tonight, let me make sure I got through all my things. Yes, Puff Daddy's a scumbag. Hope he dies. Yep, got that. And there's a great show, podcast I've been listening to, and it's called like Transmissions, and it's the story of Joy Division and New Order. And they did a whole, basically like a season, and it was about Joy Division, and it was all about Joy Division from the beginning up until they, Ian Curtis died. And then they got into New Order, and they kind of covered some of the early stuff in it. But I think it was pretty successful, so they decided to do another season of it and just cover New Order, which is really cool too. So that I've been listening to that. There's a couple episodes out of that second season. So if you're inclined to know about that, it's really good. Great interviews and all that. Billy Corgan is in the new one, talking about how much he loves New Order. And I'm kind of the same. He said like, oh, I can't believe the same band as Joy Division. I'm like, most people, they heard of Joy Division, but New Order was so big and kind of, with Blue Monday kind of came on the scene. you knew what Joy Division was, but that wasn't really. I think New Order was kind of how most American kids got into it, and then went back and got into Joy Division after that. Joy Division wasn't readily available to us around that time. It was New Order all the time, and then we discovered Joy Division after it. So I don't know, Billy. Maybe you're pulling our leg a little bit, but who knows? He grew up in Chicago. It's probably a lot of people, a lot of music passing through there. But no, it's really good. And if you like those bands, you should check it out. And I believe Peter Hook, the great bass player of both bands, Joy Division, New Order, he's playing this Saturday in Denver. I think he's playing at the Ogden, and he's playing all the Joy Division and the New Order Substance albums, which is a lot of singles and a lot of great shit on there. I saw him a couple years ago, and it was really good. If you want to hear those songs played live by someone who had something to do with it, that's a good one to do, and a good one to check out. So I think he's playing on Saturday, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, if you like all that stuff, check it out. Yeah, so I think I've exhausted the topics that I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to keep working on getting some people to get in here, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get them in before we start and make sure they're available, because that was really that was really distracting, and it's probably distracting if you watched it. So we'll try to do that a little bit. We'll streamline that, everybody. We'll try to streamline that a little bit better. But yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'll let you to it. And this has been John Reedy's Dark Entries. Howdy.